Saint Joachim and Anne, were the parents of our loving Mother Blessed Virgin Mary. Saint Anne was born in Bethlehem, and married Joachim of Nazareth. Upon their marriage they were childless for many years. When Saint Joachim's sacrifices at the temple were rejected, he took himself to the desert, where he fasted in penance for 40 days while Saint Anne was crying and looking for him to return. After which angels appeared to both Joachim and Anne to promise them a child who was our loving mother. Saint Simeon Stylites was a Syriac ascetic saint who achieved notability for living 37 years on a small platform on top of a pillar near Aleppo. He joined a monastery by the age of 16, but his brethren rejected and asked to leave because of his practice of austerity. He shut himself up in a hut for 1.5 years, where he passed the whole of Lent in prayers and without eating or drinking. This eventually led him to adopt a new way of life. Saint Pantaleon fell away from the church after the death of his mother. He studied medicine and was a physician to the emperor. A priest awakened his conscience, when he told Pantaleon that Jesus Christ was better physician, who cures not only the body, but soul. The priest succeeded in winning Pantaleon back to the foot of the church. When Pantaleon inherited a huge fortune upon his father's death, he distributed his wealth among the poor. His colleagues were envious of him and denounced him to the emperor. The emperor asked him to apostatize in the attempt to save Pantaleon, however refused to apostatize and was martyred. Saint Pope Urban II was the Bishop of Rome and ruler of the Papal States from March 12, 1088 to his death. On November 27, 1095, Pope Urban II made the most influential speech of the Middle Ages, giving rise to the Crusades by calling all Christians in Europe to war in order to reclaim the Holy Land, with a cry of Deus vult, or God wills it. Pope Urban's plea was met with a tremendous response, both among the military elite as well as ordinary citizens. Those who joined the armed pilgrimage wore a cross as a symbol of the Church. Saint Nazarias was a student of Saint Peter and was baptized by Saint Linus. During the persecutions of Nero, Nazarias fled Rome and traveled to Gaul, where he met Celso, a 9-year-old boy. The boy's mother entrusted Celso to Nazarias and asked him to teach and baptize her son. The two were arrested, tortured, and imprisoned for their faith, but later released on conditions not to preach there anymore. So they continued to try and preached there, converting many to Christianity. They were again imprisoned but this time martyred. Saint Victor I, Pope, was the first bishop of Rome from the Roman province of Africa. He tried to assert Roman authority in the early Christian Church. Most notably, he tried to sanction the Roman date for Easter over that celebrated by the Quartodecimans of Asia Minor. Victor threatened Polycrates, the bishop of Ephesus, and other bishops of Asia Minor with excommunication if they did not abandon their practice. When they defied him, he went through the motions of carrying out the sentence. Saint Beatrice was the sister of Saint Simplicius and Saint Faustinus, who were cruelly tormented and at length beheaded at Rome. Beatrice took up their bodies out of the Tiber River and gave them burial, after which she hid herself in prayers day and night, but she was found by a pagan kinsman who wanted to marry her and take control of her estates. She protested to the judge that she would never adore gods of wood and stone, and was strangled by his order in prison the following night. Saint Martha of Bethany is the sister of Mary and Lazarus. They are biblical figures that appears in the Gospels 3 times. In Luke chapter 10, when Martha hosts Jesus and the disciples. In John chapter 11, when Jesus brings Lazarus back to life. In John chapter 12, when Martha's sister, Mary, anoints Jesus' feet with expensive perfume. Saint Peter Chrysologus was appointed as Bishop of Ravenna in 433 by Pope Sixtus III after rejecting the candidate whom the people of the city had elected. People knew Saint Peter for his very simple and short but inspired sermons. He was afraid of fatiguing the attention of his hearers. After hearing oratory, Roman Empress Gallipokidia gave him the surname Chrysologus, meaning golden worded. In his homilies, he explained biblical texts briefly and concisely. He has also condemned Arianism and monophysitism as heresies and explained the Apostles' Creed, the mystery of the Incarnation, and other topics in simple and clear language. Saint Abdon and Sennen were Persians who courageously confessed the faith of Christ in the persecution of Decius, ministering to their fellows and burying the bodies of the martyrs. They were brought to Rome as prisoners and they were first sent to be executed by the beasts, but neither lions nor bears would touch them, so they were hewn into pieces by gladiators. Saint Ignatius of Loyola joined the army at the age of 17. According to one biographer, he was a fancy dresser, an expert dancer, a womanizer and a swordsman who used his privileged status to escape prosecutions. In the Battle of Pamplona he was gravely injured and had to go through many surgeries. While recovering he underwent a spiritual conversion which led to his experiencing a call to religious life. During this time of recuperating he got interested in reading religious texts on the life of Jesus and on the lives of the saints. He went on to become a priest and theologian, and also co-founded the Jesuits. Saint Justin de Jacobis, ordained as a priest in Italy, he spent his first years as a priest giving retreats to the community. In 1838, with the agreement of his superiors, he accepted a call for mission and was sent to Abissinia as the apostolic prefect for the region. He learned the language, lived with the people and worked to improve good relations on the local level. Despite the fear of imprisonment, being exiled and persecution, he founded numerous Catholic missions and built schools for the training of a native priesthood, and in the process founding the beginnings of the Ethiopian Catholic Church and the Eritrean Catholic Church. Saint Alphonsus Liguori was the son of a naval officer and captain of the royal galleys. Due to his poor eyesight and asthma he was not allowed to serve in the military and instead graduated with doctorates in civil and canon law. He continued to become a successful lawyer, but after losing his first case, he decided to leave the profession and become a priest. Spending his early years as a priest with the homeless and the marginalized youth, he became very popular because of his plain and simple preaching. He founded the evening chapels as centers of prayer and piety, preaching, community, social activities and education. Also in 1732, he founded the Congregation of the Most Holy Redeemer. The 7 holy Maccabee martyrs were martyred in the year 166 under the impious Syrian king Antiochus IV Epiphanes. When they were brought forward to trial, they fearlessly acknowledged themselves as followers of the true God. The eldest brother acted as spokesman and he was subjected to fierce tortures in sight of his brothers and their mother. His tongue was cut out, he was scalped, and his hands and feet were cut off. Then a cauldron and a large frying pan were heated, and the first brother was thrown into the frying pan, and he died. The remaining of the brothers also tortured and killed. Saint Peter Faber was a co-founder of the Society of Jesus, along with Saint Ignatius of Loyola and Saint Francis Xavier. Peter was born in a poor family in the village of Villeray. He had little education, but a remarkable memory. He could hear a sermon in the morning and then repeat it verbatim in the afternoon. In 1525, Faber went to Paris to pursue his studies, where he got to know Saint Francis Xavier and Ignatius of Loyola. Peter Faber authored the Blessed Sacrament, which proffers a convincing argument for the existence and nature of God. We love it that you have spent your time listening to this video until the end. Would you like to share your experience of God's love? Come and join us at www.mustardseedscommunity.com/join-us. Till then, may God's blessing always be with you.